Hello students, welcome to another class about Excel. This class is all about the advanced features of Excel. So let's jump right in. In Excel, you can also format only specific cells, restrict entries in a worksheet and compare values using some of Excel's features. They are as follows. First is conditional formatting. It allows highlighting certain cells to make it easy to identify particular cells in a worksheet. Another is data validation. It is for restricting data entries to cells in a worksheet. And lastly is the if function, which is for comparing values. Let's begin learning in detail about the first one, which is conditional formatting. This changes the appearance of cells on the basis of conditions that we specify. If the condition is true, then the cell range is formatted. If the condition is false, the cell range is not formatted. MS Excel 2016 allows us to make the worksheet more interesting by highlighting the data based on certain criteria using the conditional formatting tool. It also helps us to make a quick data analysis. Perform the following steps to highlight the marks of students scoring in the range of 85 to 95 in dark green color. Let's see the steps and do it together. First, select the cells that contain the marks. Then click the Home tab. Next, click the Conditional Formatting option in the Styles group. Now, select the Highlight Cells rules and choose the Between option. Then, a Between dialog box appears. Then type the range and select the color. Click the OK button. Finally, the conditional formatting will be applied to all the cells. Let's move to the next feature, which is data validation. Excel data validation is a feature that allows you to control the type of data entered in your worksheet. It means you create a validation rule that controls what kind of data can be entered in a certain cell. Excel data validation is very useful as it ensures that the data entered in a worksheet is accurate and clean at times. Let's see the uses of data validation. It allows restricted entries as per specifications. It also allows creation of custom rules. Also, a drop-down list of items can be created in a cell. And it can also reduce errors and mistakes. For example, you can allow only number or text values in a cell or restrict dates and times outside a given range, such as time should range in between 1 to 24 and date cannot be empty. You can also display a warning message when incorrect data is entered by the user. Now, we'll go into how to use validation to check data. The following options are available under the Setting tab of Data Validation in the Data menu. The Allow option is used to specify what are the items you can allow in that particular field. The following image shows what all options it allows. And the Data option is used to select the criteria as shown in the below drop-down list. Now, let's look at the steps to use data validation. Start by selecting cells for which you need to validate the data. Then, click the Data Validation option in the Data menu. Now, in the Settings tab, fill in the validation rules. The example shown will allow the entry of only whole numbers between 1 and 100 in the selected cells. Next, add a message to guide the user on what data has to be typed in the Input Message tab. This is optional. Then, add the error message in the error alert. This message is displayed when the value entered is not according to the validation rules. When the user selects the validated cell, the following message will be displayed. So, if you try to enter any invalid data in the cell, you will get the following message. Moving on to list validation. List validation allows a user to enter only values from a predefined list. The values are presented to the user as a drop-down list. This is a convenient way to allow the entry of only those values that meet the requirements. For example, you can restrict entries to either male or female in a cell. These are the steps to add list validation. Firstly, select cells to validate. Then, click the Data Validation option in the Data menu. Now, select List in the setting and type the desired values separated with commas in the source text box. And lastly, click the OK button. Now, the above column will display the drop-down with only two values, male or female, as shown below. Moving on to the third main feature of Excel that we'll be learning today is using the if function. This function tests a condition and then returns different values depending on whether the condition is true or false. This is the syntax. For example, to check whether the person is eligible for voting or not, depending on his age. Here, you can use an if function as shown below. Test age greater than 18. Let's see what do we have. So for the above data, these would be the formulas. The last topic of the chapter is nested if function. Sometimes you may require adding a value in a cell based on multiple conditions. When there is more than one condition, we use a nested if function, where another if function appears instead the first if function. Each if function must have an opening and a matching closing bracket. Let's consider the following example where a 10% discount is applicable on the total above 500 and 5% discount is applicable on the total above 300 and no discount for total below 300. So, this would be the formula. And this is what we will get after applying the same formula for the entire column. So that, students, is all that was in store for us in this chapter. I hope you all have understood the important features of Excel and also learned how to apply them. See you in the next class. Bye.